We will be reading from Chaitanya Charitamrita, Antya Lila, chapter 19, text 43, from text 43 onwards, that we will read a number of verses. Mora se kalaniti prana raksha moda sadi saki mora tenyo suritama.
Mora se kalaniti prana raksha moda sadi saki mora tenyo suritama.
Mora se kalaniti prana raksha moda sadi saki mora tenyo suritama.
Mora se kalaniti prana raksha moda sadi saki mora tenyo suritama.
Deji etana vine dikye jivani vidikari ete vidambana.
Devaji etana vine dikye jivani vidikari ete vidambana.
Mora se kalaniti prana rakshimosa sati saki mora tenro suritama.
Mora se kalaniti prana rakshama sari saki mora tenno suritama.
Deji etana vinetik e shivane vidikari ete vidambane.
Devaji etana vine dikye jivani vidikari ete vidambana.
Mora se kalaniti prana rakshamo sati saki mora tenro suritama.
Mora se kalaniti prana rakshama sari saki mora tenno suritama.
Deji etana vine deke shivane vidikari ete vidambana.
Devaji etana vine dikye jivani vidikari ete vidambana. Mora se kalaniti prana rakshama sari saki mora tenno suritama.
Mora se kalaniti prana rakshamo sati saki mora tenro suritama.
Devaji etana vine dikye jivani vidikari ete vidambana.
Devaji etana vine deke shivane vidikari ete vidambana.
Mora se kalaniti prana rakshama sari saki mora tenno suritama.
Mora se kalaniti prana rakshamo sati saki mora tenro suritama.
Devaji etana vine dikye jivani vidikari ete vidambana.
Devaji etana vine deke shivane vidikari ete vidambana.
Mora se kalaniti prana rakshama hoshadi saki mora tenno suritama.
Morasya Kalaniti Pranaraksama Sadi Saki Moradeno Surikama
Deatiye Tanavine Dike Jivane Titikare Etati Dhammana
Deatiye Tanavine Dike Jivane Vidakare Eta Vidambana. Mataji, please. Morase Kalamiti Pranakshama Sati Saki Morateno Surikama Deyatiyatana Vine Dike Shivane Vidikare Ita Vidambana Morase Kalamiti Pranakshama Sati Saki Morateno Surikama Deyatiyatana Vine Dike Shivane Vidikare Ita Vidambana. But for what translation? Mora of me, say that Kalanidhi, reservoir of art and culture, Prana Rakshama Ausadi, the panacea for saving my life, Saki, oh my dear friend, Mora, my, Teno, he, Suritama, the best of friends, Deachiye, my body lives, Tannavine, without him, Dik, condemnation, Jivane, to this life, Vidhi, providence, Kare, thus, Eta Vidambana, so much cheating. Translation. Krishna is a reservoir of art and culture, and he is the panacea that saves my life. My dear friend, since I live without him, who is the best among my friends, I condemn the duration of my life. I think that Providence has cheated me in many ways. Omagyanatimanasya Chananslasnaka Saksamilitam Yena Tasmai Shigove Namaha Chitchetayamanopistam Staptam Yena Bhutali Swayamupakadamayam Dadati Svapanantikam Vandeham Shigo Shiyuda Padakamalam Shigom Vaishnavam Shah Shirupam Jagajatam Sagam Ragnatam Vitam Tam Sativam Satvaitam Satuttam Parjana Saitam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Saganadita Shivishakam Vitam Shah He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabano Jyatpate Gopesha Gopka Kantara Dharjkanta Namostate Tapta Kancha Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavanashri Vishabhanu Sutadevi Pranamama Hripriye Vanchakalpavasha Kripasinvivasha Bhatnam Pavanabhyo Vaishnavyo Namo Namo Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktavrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Namini Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pacharini Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paskachaya Desattarini Srila Prabhupada Ki. So after some decades, we arrived at the end, the last chapters of the Antya Lila of Chaitanya Charitamrita. It's amazing. This is how the expressions of the highest love, the Mahabhav expressions from Srimati Radharani, because Lord Chaitanya is in the mood of Srimati Radharani, feeling separation from Krishna. So after having gone after having gone to all the stages of devotional service, from Shraddha to Sadhu Sangha, Bhajana Kriya, and then Anartha Nivritti, Nishta, Ruchi, Ashakti, Bhava, one comes to Prema. And one thinks, yes, I've got Prema, that's the end. But no, Prema is also 7 stages. Pranaya, Mana, Pralaya, Raga, Anuraga, Bhava, this is another Bhava, stage of Prema, and Mahabhav. You see here the expressions of Mahabhav, which are expressions of love of Srimati Radharani. And that it's very difficult to understand these emotions expressed here by Lord Chaitanya. But yes, he's at the 7th state of Prema. That, like Queen Kunti is described by our acharyas as having attained this Prema, having attained the state of Anuraga, that great attachment to Lord Krishna. And we know that Queen Kunti prays in the Bhagavatam, let all these calamities come again, that because that's good, because then my mind will be fixed on you. Because Tvaimananya Vishaya Matupate Sakrit, let my mind be focused on you like the Ganges flows to the ocean. Let there be no diversion. That she prayed even to cut away the attachment for her sons. That, because that would be a deviation. That, and she prays for these calamities. That, what does it mean? Her experience is that by this attachment to Krishna in love, that's the highest pleasure, the highest aim of love. And whatever price that I have to pay for it, it's insignificant. Insignificant. So that means param dristva nivartate. She has the higher taste. the higher taste. So that is very difficult for us to even understand that we may have some taste sometimes not, some going up and down. Because that's the process of devotional service. It's not in a straight line, it's going up and down, but surely it's going up and down, but it's going up. But it takes a while, and sometimes you are down, sometimes you are up. But this, yes, sometimes it's down in the material world. Because Lord Chaitanya said, yes, Providence has cheated me in many ways. That's Providence, of course, is Krishna. Lord Chaitanya is going to criticize Providence. Well, he will also, the gopis, they criticized Providence when Krishna disappeared from the rasa dance. And Lord Chaitanya will quote also that verse. But yes, for us, the material energy is cheating us. In Bhagavad Gita, there, Lord Krishna says to Arjuna, Nami Bhaktya Pranashati. My devotee never perishes. My devotee, please, Arjuna, you proclaim it all over the world. But Baladev Vidyabhushan, he put some lines between the verses. But then Arjuna is saying, you want me to proclaim, to tell that all over the world? But why are you not doing it yourself? And Krishna says, but I'm from Mathura, Krishna says. And those from Mathura, they are known as cheaters. But they never cheat someone whom they love. So that's the point in this material world. Unless our mind is man-mano fixed on Krishna and we become bhava mad bhakto, we will be cheated by the material energy. But that's our experience in this material world. We discussed that yesterday, because the question was brought up, why some people really cannot see the reality of life. That's also Maharaj Yudhishthira answered the question of the Yaksha. The Yaksha who was Dharmaraj. Well, that's, of course, Yudhishthira Maharaj is the son of Dharmaraj. And asking the question, what's the most amazing thing in this world? Yudhishthira Maharaj replied, the most amazing thing in this world, that everyone makes plans in this world to settle down here permanently. That's the greatest illusion, and that's Krishna cheating everyone through the material energy. But unless one becomes transcendently situated, this cheating will go on. But the cheating here in this verse is different. Just Lord Chaitanya said, I think that Providence has cheated me in many ways. And now Lord Chaitanya will criticize Providence. We will continue reading text 44. Ye jana chitena ichaya tare kene chichayo Vidipate ute koda soka, vidire karabachana, Krishna dena olahana, padi bhagavate ra eka sloka. Why does Providence continue the life of one who does not wish to live? This thought aroused anger and lamentation in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who then recited a verse from Srimad Bhagavatam that chastises Providence and makes an accusation against Krishna. Text 45. This is from the Bhagavatam. Aho vidattas tavana kvachitvaya samyo yamatreya pranayena dena tamsa kritachtam vyomansi apartakam visheshitam te rikbhatashestitam yata. O Providence, you have no mercy. You bring embodied souls together through friendship and affection, but before their desire are fulfilled, you separate them. Your activities are like the foolish pranks of children. That's purport. This verse, quoted from Srimad Bhagavatam 10:39-19, was chanted by the damsels of Vraj when Krishna left Vrindavan for Mathura with Akrura and Balaram. The gopis lamented that Providence had made it possible for them to meet Krishna and Balaram in affection and love, and had severed and had them separated them. So Providence for the conditioned soul, Providence for the Mahabharata. Different experiences here, that because these gopis, they say yes, because they were separated from Krishna, they were condemning Providence. But yes, but what does it mean on the spiritual platform being situated from Krishna? So we have different pastimes in the 10th canto. We have the chapter on the Brahman's wives blessed. And there we know the story how the Kauras boys, on behalf of Krishna and Balaram, went to beg from these ritualistic Brahmins, but they had no time, too busy with their karma kanda rituals, and they even did not reply. So the Kauras boys came back to Krishna, and Krishna said, yes, if you beg, sometimes you are refused, what can you do? But you ask their wives. So he went to their wives. The Kauras boys went to their wives and begged on behalf of Krishna and Balaram, and they became very enthusiastic. Because they heard from Krishna and Balaram from the Pulindas. Pulindas are the flower ladies from the forest. They sell flowers and fruits. These are the original residents of Vrindavan before Nanda Maharaj and the Kauras boys moved there from Gokul, original residents, and they were living from the fruits from the forest and were selling them on the market, and by that they came in contact with these wives of the Brahmins and told them about Krishna, because while collecting all the fruits and the flowers, they saw Krishna and Balaram in the forest. And so they became very enthusiastic and they started to cook nice preparations very quickly and brought them to Krishna and Balaram. And Lord Krishna said, I'm very happy that you have done it out of love for me, and you came to me out of love. That's very good, that is commendable, very nice. But now I want to go back home and perform your sadhana. Because what was their sadhana? Hearing about Krishna, speaking about Krishna, remembering Krishna. When we chant the holy name, we hear about Krishna, speak about Krishna, we remember about Krishna. And you assist your husbands in your duties. And by that, you will always think of me, Krishna says. And when you think of me, I'm with you. I'm really with you. So there is no need to come here. This is the process that you have to apply. So these gopis, they were also on that platform. They were always thinking of Krishna. It is said here, yes, they were, when Akrura took Krishna away from Vrindavan, they condemned Akrura, because Akrura later got in problems with that. He got some reactions when he was in Dwarka. There he got entangled in this murder of Satrajit and Jamantika jewel and so on. And he had to flee for Kashi for some time. That's another story. But then when the gopis left, the gopis saw Krishna left, yes, they lamented. And they came together. And they said, he left us. Another gopi said, yes, he left us. He's now the object of attention of the ladies of Mathura. So another gopi said, yes, he left us, so why are we still speaking about him? And another gopi said, yes, let's forget him. Let's stop speaking about him. Another gopi said, yes, let us forget us, how he smiled so sweetly. Another gopi said, yes, let us forget how he garlanded us. Another gopi said, yes, let us forget how he danced with us. It went on like this. They could not stop speaking about Krishna. Their minds were completely absorbed in Krishna. They could not do anything else than thinking about Krishna. We know also from the period Bhagavatamrita from Sanatana Goswami, when Gopkumar finally, after a long journey, arrived in Goloka Vrindavan. And his first impression was, this is a flawless place. You feel the devotion in the air. But then he saw, this Goloka Vrindavan. It looks like the Vrindavan that I knew on earth. But it's so blissful. So I would like to go to the palace of Nanda Maharaj, and he saw some gopis. And these gopis, they were completely absorbed in thinking of Krishna. Because it was during the day, and in the morning when Krishna leaves, then these gopis, they hide in the bushes, looking at Krishna, how he leaves, they're offering their glances, from the sidelong glances, that because that it's always secret. That, but then, yes, when Krishna left, then the mind of the gopis went with Krishna. Krishna stole their mind. Therefore is called Manohar, the one who steals the minds of the gopis. That, yes, they went with him. So that was, and the whole day they are thinking of Krishna, so absorbed. Krishna is walking on in the forest. His feet are so soft, he's going to hurt his feet. That, yes. And so Gop Kumar saw them, but they were completely absorbed in Krishna, and he wanted to ask them the way to the palace of Nanda Maharaj. And he said, "Who?" But it was like they didn't see him. No way to contact him. So absorbed in thinking about Krishna. That, of course, Purnamasi, elderly gopi, got compassion with him, and she showed them the way to the house of Nanda Maharaj. But yes, then these gopis, after a long time of separation, they met Krishna again at the time of the solar eclipse at Kurukshetra. And there, Krishna had a separate meeting with the residents of Vrindavan and with the gopis, and Uddhav was there also. That, and there the gopis said yes, because Krishna could see that they neglected themselves, they were not nicely dressed, and they didn't keep themselves nicely, that they were always absorbed in separation from Krishna. That in Gopal Chambri described how they went from Vrindavan to Kurukshetra to meet Krishna, these gopis. It's mentioned there, they were completely absorbed in Krishna, they were thinking of Krishna, and suddenly they fainted. They got up, they were walking for some time, they were fainted, get up, and that's the way they went to Kurukshetra. So when they arrived at Kurukshetra, Krishna had a meeting with them. And Krishna explains them. You felt these feelings of separation, but while feeling this, while thinking of me, I really was present in your mind. But you were thinking it's imagination. But I was there. So there is no need to come here. I'm with you. So that is interesting. But finally the gopis accepted that. Because Krishna said that also during the rasa dance. In the beginning of the rasa dance, the gopis come and Krishna said, "Why did you come? You should be by your husbands and you take care of your household chores. And it's in the middle of the night, very dangerous, so many dangerous animals. So go back. Of course, the gopis were not happy that he's playing his flute and he's attracting us, and we cannot do anything than coming because the attraction is so strong. He's attracting us, and then he tells us to go home. And Krishna tells them the same thing. You should go home and you think of me. And yeah, you will be with me. No need to come. Of course, it didn't happen at that time. So what can we learn from that? Well, when Uddhav was sent, Radha Gopinath, Sharna Baldev Subhadra, Shishikani Taiki. When Uddhav was sent to Vrindavan by Lord Krishna, when he arrived in Vrindavan, he arrived in the evening, and he found a very blissful Vrindavan, that they were milking the cows, and it was a happy atmosphere, very blissful. But then when he met Mother Yasoda and Nanda Maharaj, he got a different Vrindavan. So our acharyas explain, this is the difference between aprakat and prakat lila, manifested and unmanifested for our eyes. When Uddhav arrived in Vrindavan in the evening, he got the prakat, he entered the aprakat lila. Aprakat lila are the eternal pastimes of the Lord, like they are experiencing Goloka Vrindavan. This is high philosophy. But when he met Nanda Maharaj and Mother Yasoda, then Nanda Maharaj was crying, and Mother Yasoda, well, Nanda Maharaj had his head down, Mother Yasoda was crying. And they seemed to be in that situation for many days. They didn't clean the house. And what was the reaction of Uddhav? Uddhav said, I'm very happy to see you in that condition. That's strange. That someone is suffering and he says, I'm very happy to see you in that condition. Because Uddhav knows that these feelings of separation are the highest bliss, factually. Because we think that their emotions of suffering are the same as in this world. No, it has nothing to do with it. So we cannot understand this, because we are conditioned. We suffer because we are identified with the body, but these residents have nothing to identify with. They are in their spiritual oneness. So these are emotions of love for Krishna. But it is said also in the Bhagavatam and by our acharyas, like the cowherd boys when Krishna left, they felt such an intense separation from Krishna that they were always thinking of Krishna. And they entered the aprakat lila of Krishna by their feelings of separation. They got the association of Krishna directly in their heart. Krishna appeared. But how does this happen? Because I feel embarrassed to speak about this topic, but this is the highest, and I try to share the little knowledge I have here about these pastimes, about these feelings of separation. In Nectar of Instruction, text 8 in the purport, Srila Prabhupada writes about, he writes about 5 stages of Smarana Vasta, 5 stages of remembering Krishna. So the first stage is, sometimes we forget Krishna, sometimes we remember Krishna. Certainly in the beginning when I was chanting Hare Krishna, I could chant 16 rounds without thinking of Krishna. But anyway, but gradually that when one's mind becomes connected with Krishna, and sometimes you think of Krishna, and sometimes you forget. That's the second stage. And then the next stage is when you become advanced after 30, 40 years of chanting. The chanting becomes, your thinking of Krishna becomes continuously, without interruption. And when it becomes continuously, that's the level of nishta, liberation. Your mind cannot be deviated from Krishna anymore. At that moment, Krishna gradually will reveal himself within the heart, Srila Prabhupada says in a lecture. He will reveal himself within the heart. And first he will reveal his beautiful form, his beautiful bluish form, his sweetness, his smile, and then Krishna's qualities will be revealed. And then you will see, oh, Krishna is in an environment. You see parrots in the spiritual world. You see the kalpavriksha trees. And then you find in your heart that Krishna is not alone. Krishna is not alone. He is there with his associates. You start to see his associates, and then finally, you see Krishna's pastimes in your heart. And that is the level of Ashakti. Srila Prabhupada explains that Ashakti, Srila Prabhupada said, is transcendental television. We have on the channel Goloka Vrindavan. But now our television is broken. We have to repair it. And then you enter the aprakat lila of Krishna. So that's the way. And then you develop bhava and prema. Of course, from the first stages, from Shraddha to Sadhusanga, Bhajana-kriya, Anartha-nivritti, and Nishta, that can take many, many years, sometimes lifetimes, to come to that point. But when you come to Nishta, then after that, the Ruchi comes, because then you are Atmaram. Atmarama Samuneye, the verse, Atmaram becomes automatically attracted to Krishna. You become attracted. And then you come to that level of asakti, that bhava and prema. But these last stages go very quick compared to the long time of purification. But the last stages, they happen only by the mercy of Krishna. That's the domain of mercy of Krishna. So this is, Lord Chaitanya condemning providence. Krishna has cheated him. But, of course, he's Krishna himself. Lord Chaitanya is Bhaktarupa. He's appearing in the form of a devotee. And he exhibits the form of a devotee here who is exhibiting this love, this mood of Srimad Radharani, which is the highest. So yes, the cowherd boys, they entered also through this process, the Aprakat Lila. But the gopis and Nanda Maharaj and Mother Yasoda did not. They stayed in the Prakat Lila. Their love was intenser, more intense. That more intense love. And they wanted to stay in these feelings of separation. And that's very special. This is, if you want to learn more about this, I think it's in the Bankment of Separation. From Govinda Maharaj, he writes about that. But it's not advised for us neophytes to go too deep in that. Best that we concentrate on the process of purification so that we can come to this nishta. And it's very inspiring to hear about these realizations of Lord Chaitanya, who is sharing this highest goal of bhakti. Mabhav, which is reserved for Srimad Radharani. When those in Mabhav bring Krishna under their control. And love that brings Krishna under control is called Vraja Prema, the love of the residents of Vrindavan. So, any comments?
Alright, I think you will lecture. How do you translate providence? Because I think it's more meaning.
Providence, Providence, I would say, is what is arranged by higher authorities, and we cannot change it. So like the reactions of our karma, that's providence. That Krishna knows past, present and future. And he knows what's going to happen. He arranged already. He showed to Arjuna how his universal form was eating all these warriors and said, I killed them already. So that is providence. But of course, providence on the material platform, I would say. Providence. Providence is very hard. That people live for sometimes, they become attached to each other, and then death comes suddenly. Up. And you are separated. It's Srila Prabhupada says, it's like you go on the train and you meet people on the train journey, and then afterwards you never meet them again. That's like that. That's providence. But providence on the spiritual platform, like yesterday I explained that we are all Krishna explains in Bhagavad Gita, there are the fallible, the infallible, and then Krishna says, I'm above that. And Srila Prabhupada explains, we are all conditioned. We are conditioned either by the material energy or by the spiritual energy. So, and in the under the spiritual energy means, like in Goloka Vrindavan, they are also conditioned because their consciousness is suppressed. They see Krishna as their friend. They forget that he is God, but they don't forget Krishna. So that's also an arrangement by providence that Krishna wants. He brings his eternal parents from Goloka Vrindavan to have here their pastimes. And yes, that's happening under his Lila Shakti. So it's good to know we are always controlled by Krishna and his energies. And we have to play our part, nirmita matram, be an instrument of Krishna. That's our fortune, if we can be an instrument. The Pandavas went to so much trouble but they never blamed Krishna for it. Although they knew, they were conscious. Krishna is these are all arrangements from Krishna. Gandhari also knew it. She cursed Krishna. You are the cause of all this trouble. And I curse you because all this I curse you that your dynasty will perish. But finally that was also an arrangement from Krishna. Because Krishna arranged that she would curse him, because otherwise how would he remove them? And he was happy to hear it. So that this is the unlimited power of Krishna. That's Asintya Sakti. I remember when the devotee asked to my Guru Maharaj, Bhakti Maharaj, can Krishna make Govardhan so heavy that he cannot lift it? And he said, yes, and still he will lift it. So, that's beyond our comprehension. We are like, in the Bible it says we are like umbura fruits. In an umbura fruit you have many flies inside. And they don't understand that they are in a fruit. So we cannot understand really our situation. But we get a glimpse of what's happening through the Bhagavatam and so on. But that's also limited. But our fortune is that, if we surrender to Krishna and we become his instrument, we will be happy. Otherwise, we will never be happy. And a devotee is happy to be under the material or the spiritual energy, fine, as long as we can serve Krishna. And that is without material motive, uninterrupted. That's the parodharma. Something I could say. Does that help? Yeah. Yes, please.
How can we be conditioned by the spiritual energy?
Oh, by the spiritual energy. How we are conditioned by the spiritual energy. Well, I just explained that. In Goloka Vrindavan, they are conditioned by Lila Shakti. Lila Shakti makes, because everyone has a relationship with Krishna, and to exhibit this relationship, like friendship, you must really think that you are equal to Krishna, or you cannot have that relationship. And Lila Shakti helps one to think in that way. That when the cowboys, when they go to the play field, then sometimes they divide in two parts, Balaram and Krishna, and then they have a play, and then the winner has the right to ride horse on the back of the loser. And one time the party of Krishna lost and the party of Balaram. And the party of Balaram won. So the devotee was playing with Krishna, said, yes, you lost. I'm going now to ride horse on your back. And Krishna said, no. I slipped on a banana peel. And the devotee, where is this banana peel? And he made its way on the back of Krishna and started to ride horse. Now, are you going to do that, climb on the deity? No. You must be under illusion. That's Lila Shakti. Then they see Krishna as equal. That the same with the gopis. The gopis, they think Krishna is their lover. That the son of Nanda Maharaj and that idea is he may be God, yes, but they are not concerned about that. They just want Krishna. And that's also Lila Shakti. But Krishna, what does Krishna want from us? He wants our love. That's what Krishna wants. He wants our love. And therefore he makes this arrangement to have this more intense love. Because in Vaikuntha they are all das. That they are serving Krishna. And that's what we are, that's the constitutional position of the spiritual, we are all das. But what kind of servant we are? So, therefore, in Goloka Vrindavan, you have these higher rasas. If you see the conversation between Ramananda Roy and Lord Chaitanya. Lord Chaitanya, when up to Dasaras, he said, yeah, okay, that's good, but give me something better. And then he becomes pleased when he starts to hear about Sakyaras and these higher rasas. Because that is living in a transcendental relationship of Krishna with deep love. That in Vaikuntha they are in Santaras. When Gop Kumar came in Vaikuntha, Gop Kumar, he had this desire. He was a coward man, and that was his relationship with Krishna. That his name was Farouk. He belongs to a family of Radharani, but somehow or other he came into the material world and was cursed. But he goes to all the material worlds, to the Brahmajyoti, and then he comes in Vaikuntha. And there he sees Lord Narayan is worshipped very officially with prayers of the Vedas, and everyone is glorifying him, offering so many things that are all Dasyaras. And Gop Kumar doesn't feel at home. He sees Lord Narayan and he reminds him of Krishna, and he starts to think of Krishna as a coward boy. And suddenly, he's in Vaikuntha, he jumps up and says, Gopal, Gopal! And then all these residents of Vaikuntha, they come around him, oh, we don't worship the Supreme Lord like this here. Please calm down. And then the Lord of Vaikuntha, he knew the heart of Gop Kumar. And for some time, it took the form of Krishna with his flute. But then Narada Muni appeared. And Narada Muni said to Gopkumar, I understand you have to go to Golok, but then Gopkumar said, but how can I get there? Well, you cannot go from Vaikuntha to Golok, that's impossible. You have to go back first to the earthly Vrindavan. And from there, you can go to Golok. That's what he did. He came back to Vrindavan, and then he was in Vrindavan, and he was looking for Krishna. And suddenly he sees Krishna in the forest, and he started to run after Krishna. But Krishna swiftly disappeared. And then he came into at the Yamuna, and he fell into the Yamuna. And then some time later, he was finding himself in a spiritual viman, in a spiritual spaceship. And he went to all the planetary systems. He went through the Brahmajyoti. He went to all the Vaikuntha planets. And then he entered Goloka Vrindavan. And then he understood, I'm beyond the material and the spiritual world. So we have all a relationship with Krishna. And I heard Kadambakana Maharaj gave a presentation to the sannyas candidates and about the meaning of sannyas life. You know what he said? He said, sannyas means living constantly in a relationship with Krishna. We have a relationship with Krishna. And once you come to Nishtha and over that, then that relationship will gradually be revealed. Also, Kadambakana has explained that in a lecture. But it's not suddenly revealed, it's gradually. Gradually you feel attraction for certain service and you feel that's your nature. And that in that way, that's, yeah, I'm speaking with embarrassment. It's above my level that I'm speaking, far above. But I'm only repeating what I've heard and my experience of teaching the Bhaktivedanta students on these chapters of the Bhagavatam. Very blissful. Thank you. Good? Yes?
So,
Pandu?
what is the difference between providence and destiny?
Yeah, that's the same thing. The same thing. That's a synonym, I would say. Providence of destiny. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Chandra Shri Chaitanya Charitamrita ki, Srila Prabhupada ki.